I absolutely love innovation and technology because there is so many things that happens when new innovations come and when new technology come. Think about it. The phone. Well, 30 years ago, most people in the world didn't have a cell phone. In fact, many of them didn't even know what it was. And you know what? More than anything else, they thought people will never get something like that. Think about the internet. Same thing again. 1992. And it wasn't invented. 1994, and I hadn't heard about it. 1996, and people absolutely say it will completely collapse and fail. And then today, we can't do anything without going to the internet. Google it, is what we say. Think about travel. What would have happened if we didn't have inventions of new ways of traveling and we'd still be on a donkey riding slowly from town to town? You wouldn't be able to see the world. So innovations is what drives mankind forward. It's what drives us. Think about coffee. Cincino was based as a coffee company. And you know, an espresso-based Americano or cappuccino or cafe latte, it just tastes so much better. And today, nearly everyone in the Western world is drinking that kind of coffee instead of the old kind of coffee. Think about music, think about TV, how it's changed just in the last 10 years from having CDs to now just having everything on demand in your phone, or TV the same thing. Instead of having to wait for when your favorite program is, you just only play your favorite program and without any commercials. It's absolutely amazing. Well, here is what excites me so much about Cincino, is that it gives me a second chance. And it gives you a second chance because probably as me, many of you guys missed out on a lot of the trends that I just spoke about. You didn't hit them, you didn't invest in a company, or you didn't start a company in that field, or you didn't get engaged with it early enough. So you feel like, will I ever have a second chance? And you do have it. Right now, Cincino is leading a new megatrend that will change the world in the same way as we changed the world in the past with things that I just went through. It's absolutely going to be amazing. And today, we're the market leader of this megatrend of test-based nutrition. So now let me just explain how a trend works for a second. It starts with innovation. That's the first 2.5% group. The crazy ones, the misfits, the people that have strange ideas, people like you and like me in this case with Cincino, because we're in that beginning. Who would ever buy a cell phone was what I asked my uncle in 1989 when he paid too much for it. And today people are asking, who would ever prick their finger, send in their blood to find out if they're having the right nutrition or not? In fact, many people criticize what we're doing right now because we're at innovation stage. It goes from 0 to 2.5% of the buyers group. And in our case, the buyers group of the Omega products that we have, the balanced product line that we have, is everyone in the population from 4 months old to as old as you get. So 2.5% is a large number of people that needs to be tested. But here is the cool thing. When we get from that 2.5% into the trendsetter group, which is 13.5% of the market, that's when you start hearing people getting interested. The cool ones are taking a look at it. You'll see it on TV that, you should get test-based nutrition, making sure that you get the nutrients that you need. Instead of what they say today, just eat regular food and you'll get everything you need. Well, we know 97% fail or test, so we know that that's not true, but they don't know it yet. But think about the business acceleration we will have when we get into that group of 13.5% and it starts accelerating. Then the next phase after that is early majority, is when the normal people are starting to do it. Those that didn't know that they had a need for nutrition. Those that said, well, we don't eat organic. Those that said that, well, we'll never do that. They're 34% of the population, and they're the next step. And then it's the late majority, another 34%, and in the end it's the 16% that is laggers. And that is what forms a megatrend when we go through all of those, and it actually changes society. And that's what I believe at the core, that 30 years from now, everyone will want to take a test And then they would want to add the nutrients to their diet that they know that they need because they got tested. And then there needs to be supplements that are so good that when you test again in 4 months or 5 months or 3 months, today on the Omega test, the balance test is 4 months, but in future might be different time periods. You get a perfect result, and it absolutely will wake them up and will make them loyal customers for a very long time. So when we talk about trends, people say, well, I don't know, that will never happen. But then after a while, people say, well, maybe there is something, but they come and go. And then even further down the road, people become loyal, and then in the end, they move up in quality. So what drives the mega trend of the Cincino balance test and test-based nutrition? Well, it's health, because people already have this consciousness of health in nearly every country in the world today, and it's beauty. People want to look great. And it's exercise, and that's been a mega trend that has been swiping the world for a long time. But there is more than that drives it. It's all the documentaries that you find on your on-demand TV like Netflix. It's the smart devices like your Apple Watch or your other devices that you have that measures your blood pressure, that measures all your key movements and measures your exercise. That drives the trend. And then there is research. We know more today about science than ever before. And the research, the data can't be ignored. And when that's matched with a personal test, it absolutely is what will create the trend. So when the trend is formed, then we start testing people. Do you know what also happens? Demand moves up. We actually create the market for more effective products. And today there is thousands, tens of thousands of companies out there that think, and that most people think, sells a product that is just like our Cincino product. But we know that when they get tested, they discover it didn't work like Cincino. And then we know that when they are on the product for 120 days or maybe a year or maybe 2 years, and they feel the effect of being in balance, they understand, wow, this is completely different. This is a game changer. The balanced product, I've got it right here, the balanced product is 10 times better, and that's just mesmerizing. So what do I expect will happen with Cincino because of this mega trend? Well, this is what makes me excited. In the next 5 years, I think that we can grow nearly up to 50% a year, maybe even a little bit above some of the years. For the next 15 years, I think that we can average a growth of 30% annually. And for the next 30 years, I think that we can do 20% annual growth. And I'll soon go through those numbers. But before that, let's get back in history. Why are we able to have such an amazing growth? Well, number one, for the last 15 years, we grew 33.8%. So we've already done it for 15 years. We've already been building the company faster than most companies ever get built for the past 15 years. Number two, today we're in 35 markets, a billion people population, and we've just moved out of the 30 million people population of Scandinavia and the Baltics. And now the market is so many times bigger, but it gets better. We're adding 10 new markets a year, and just this year, we're going to go into countries like India. We're going to start with Hong Kong, maybe look into sending some products into China. We're going to do Russia. We're going to go into many markets. And every year from now on, going forward, we're adding 10 new markets to expand the place where we're selling the products. Number three, we're the leader of this test-based nutrition. The Omega market that we're tapping into, first of all, is 500 million consumers around the world, and it's growing fast by 7.6% a year. We estimate it to be nearly 40 billion in size, and that's 40 billion euros. And when we bring our test to it, when we bring this technology into it, do you know what happens? 97% of the existing Omega customers fail our test, and they become Cincino customers, more loyal, with a lot better results. The mega trends of health, beauty, and exercise propels our products, because at the core of all of this is the 6-tree balance. In every cell, when you balance omega-6 to the omega-3s, your cell gets the normal function and all the other dominoes of fats falls in place, and it just becomes that much more effective. You all of a sudden what you need to have optimal health and to have optimal beauty and to have mental and physical performance. But there is also more than that we're the company that really drives the other trends and fulfills what people already need. There is also that we will in the future develop new test technologies and new products to further expand our market as we become a global giant. And then in the end, we're a direct selling company. And as technology advances and AI, artificial intelligence, is replacing millions of jobs around the world, people need to find entrepreneurship, and we think that hooking up with Zinzino and hooking up with direct selling will be one of those new places that people will choose to work. So look at this future and look at the timing. Let me go through some numbers, and you got to watch the graph here, because this is going to be a lot of details from 2005 to 2050, and I might not say every number, but it's going to be in the graph first. We launched our company in 2005, had 13 million in sales. Then in 6 we had 17, in 7 we went 27, in 8 34, in 9 51, and then in 10 we hit 71 million Swedish kronor in sales. In 11, 101, 12, 176, 13, 254, and you see it grows every year. Some years over 50%, some years as low as 10%, but the average created 33.8%. So we have 254, 358, 444, 492, 540, 586, and in 2019, we did 765 million, and we had 230,000 customers. That's what we've been through. And this is where we are right now. So moving into 2020, if we're doing the same growth, the 33%, in 2020 we will do 1,017 million, and we will end up having 306,000 customers. I don't want to make prognosis for the future going into the details of the numbers, because prices might change, we might have inflation and so on. But look at the customer growth continuing with 33%. So we go to 306, 21, 407, 22, 407, 541, 23, 720, 24, 457. And in 2025, we will reach 1,273,000 customers. And then going on, we go to 1.6, 2.2, 2.9, 3.9 in 2029, and in 2030, 5.2. Then 7 million, 9.3, and then 12.4, and then eventually you go to 16.57 and 22 million customers in 2035. Can you imagine what happens if we grow 33% continuing on all the way to 2050? Well, that's 709 million customers. We didn't include that in our growth budget. We said, no, we slow down to 11% from there on. So an average of 20 for the period of 30 years. And we hit 100 million customers. I'll tell you, that's a perfect timing. You get to be a part of a megatrend with a company that is going to lead that megatrend, and that is just going to set new records inside of the nutrition industry, inside of the test-based nutrition industry, inside of the direct selling industry. And in fact, I think that we're going to set records in nearly every category out there. So what to do? Well, get tested, start using the product to get the benefits from it, enroll into the system, and start sharing the vision and sharing the business and sharing the products with others. Because Look at that timing you have on this graph. You're at the very beginning of this growth. It's a perfect timing. And you are at the right place. You're at the right timing. You are with the right company. You get your second chance right now. It's all about acquiring the competence for you and then taking action. I hope to see you in the near future in one of our major events. Thank you so much.